Yeto. Yeto. What is Yeto? What up, though? What up, though? How y'all feeling tonight? My name is Sauce, of course, and welcome to Sauce's Chillin. What more can I say? Y'all know what it is. Thank you once again to our sponsors. Um, me, because ain't no sponsors. It's just me. Just a whole lot of me, and that's all there is, and it's all there's ever gonna be, it seems like. Although I can't mention my book, Shorts from Source. You can't forget that. Shorts from Source, 31 thoughts, poems, and stories from me. $10 at the Cash App, $ MICSOURCE, boom bam, chicken and ham. Thank you, ma'am. And that's how we doing. Man, we back. Day before the NFL season kicks off. Are y'all ready? Because I'm ready. I'm ready for the NFL season to kick off. Okay, 100%. Let me be 100. I'm not ready. Mentally, I'm not ready. I hate the preseason. I avoid preseason games at all costs. But my birds are on Friday night, and I got to get my mind right before kickoff. Wildest part of it all is that before I realized that the Eagles played on Friday instead of Sunday, I scheduled myself to DJ Friday evening. How, Sway? How you gonna be DJing on Friday evening when your squad kicks off the season? Terrible, terrible. I need a booking agent, somebody to help a brother out because this ain't it. This is not it. But we're gonna ride it out. The gig is from 6 to 8, so I'll make it back home. I'll see most of the game. I'll see most of the game, but it's just not the same. On top of that, the Green Bay Packers are my oldest daughter's favorite team. We were supposed to watch the game. Well, she had it already planned in her mind that we would watch the game together. And unfortunately, I didn't realize there was a game on Friday night. Terrible. Some would question my fandom, but it happens to the best of them. Maybe it's age. Maybe it's age. Maybe it's the grades. I don't know. Something ain't right, though. In the words of Keith Sweat, something just ain't right. And I'm gonna have to figure that out. But anyway, welcome to the show once again. Shorts. The book is Shorts from Source, and if you want to cop that, Cash App $10, $MICSOURCE. Send your address. I will sign it, autograph it, and ship it out to you ASAP. All right, let's get into it. But where should we start? There's so many directions we can go with this conversation. I got a lot to say about a couple of things, so let me see where we're gonna start. Like I said, the NFL season kicks off on tomorrow, which is Thursday. We got Baltimore and Kansas City getting the season started. Can't ask for a better matchup than that. Um, Lamar trying to avenge his brother's death, aka himself, last season in the playoffs. Bro, bro, it was set up for the Baltimore Ravens to go ahead and knock off Kansas City. It was set up. And even after not playing well for a good portion of the game, the Ravens had a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, it was a chance until your man Zayday coughed that thing up. Oh my gosh. One of my homies from from TikTok, which I was on TikTok live a little while ago, he said it's gonna be Zay's coming out game. I was like, it need to be his going back in game and starting over, because he definitely was part of tricking that joint up, especially late in the game. But they will have a chance to avenge their brother's death on tomorrow, and it's gonna be live one way or the other. It's gonna be live. I think, what was it, last season? Detroit played. Did Detroit play Kansas City in game one? I believe Detroit played Kansas City game one last season. Detroit knocked them off. So we know that win or lose, this game is not that serious for Kansas City because they can still beat Kansas City regardless of what happens. But it would be a good look for Baltimore to at least get some, I wouldn't really call it revenge for real, because I mean, you win this game, you're not going to the Super Bowl. There ain't no Super Bowl in 2 weeks, but at least you will have started off the season knocking off the team that sent you to the crib, right? True. I'm looking forward to week one. Oh, by the way, I don't know if any of you are NFL pick'em contest lovers. I personally love pick'em contests. I love any kind of contest. FanDuel. Speaking of which, I tricked up $27 about an hour ago. We'll get to that in a minute though. But I do I do a lot of things, including an NFL pick'em contest, $10 contest. It pays out to two people. So there's a first place prize and then a second place smaller prize. And we're getting that started. If you're interested, hit me up. I'll send you the link. You send your $10 to that same Cash App, MICSOURCE, and then I'll send you the sheet with everybody's picks once we get to Sunday morning, because it's only the Sunday through Monday games that we normally play. Maybe Saturday games later in the season, but right now it'll just be Sunday and Monday games, and that's how we get down. Usually it's between 30 and 70 people, depending on the week, depending on what else is going on. But I actually have a sports group on Facebook where a good number of the uh, contestants are. So it's always gonna be a little something, a little bread on the line, a little something to add a little spice to your Sunday and Monday NFL season. All right. But I'm looking forward to week one. I know y'all are too. Shout out your squad. If you feel like it, throw them in the comments. I won't be mad at you. Now I won't even be mad if it's the Cowboys, because I don't hate them. Bird gang over here, but I don't hate the Cowboys. I have no disdain for those people. The fans aren't my type of people normally. But the Cowboys, I don't hate them. You'll never hear me talk crazy about. I mean, unless they do something crazy, which they tend to do at least once a season. But unless they're doing something crazy, I don't talk too wild about the Cowboys team. But I definitely am on their necks as far as the fans, because they get on my nerves. Foolishness, I tell you. I ain't never seen more delusional people than Dallas Cowboy fans. If you know somebody more delusional than a Dallas Cowboy fan, please let me know what that delusional mindset is. Drop it in the comments, because I'm curious. Who is more delusional than a Dallas Cowboy fan? On to bigger and better things. Well, not bigger than the NFL. How's that possible? But on to bigger and better things. I actually have a statement. I should have written it down. I should have done this as a written statement, because people that don't understand nuance or how to be objective about something will probably not understand what I'm saying. They'll probably look at it like, but you said blah, 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 blah. But I just want to be clear. When it comes to the WNBA, there is one Rookie of the Year, and her name is Caitlin Clark. And it's not that close anymore. I know it's hard for some people to comprehend, hard for some people to understand, but Caitlin Clark is the MVP. Right now, she is uh, sitting at the sitting in the Player of the Month award winning seat, along with Player of the Week. Ever since the Olympics took place, from that first game back on, she's been on one. She's been on one. And not that she didn't play decent before that, but since then, she has solidified. She's still a lunatic. Don't get me wrong. Like, she still needs some therapy. She still needs to talk to somebody about how to deal with her emotions. But the fact remains that she hooping. She hooping. You can't be mad at her. I know some people don't understand the difference between talking about a situation or something that happens, an incident, an occurrence, and how people respond to that, and being that R word that some people don't like to hear. Racist. Racist. But this ain't that. This is straight up basketball talk from leading her team as far as on the floor, handling the rock, dishing the rock. Yes, we get stuck on her turnovers because she be turning that joint over. Don't get it twisted. She gonna lead the league in turnovers by an easy uh, turnover. I think it's a turnover and a half. I'll say it's a turnover because I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it's a turnover and a half. Easily leading the league in turnovers per game, but that is just the one. Let me take that back. A little lack of defense. There's a lack of defense, but she's not the only player that doesn't play defense. I'll just throw that out there. Turnovers are crazy, facts, but overall game effect on the game, not shooting super well, but even with that, the way she is leading on the court as far as distributing the rock. She got Kelsey Mitchell going crazy, even though Kelsey Mitchell always gets buckets. I mean, she isn't what, top five in collegiate scoring, D1 scoring history, or in the history of D1 scoring for nothing. Like, she gets a bucket. She is a bucket, but she's back on her bully right now. Aaliyah Boston is back in the mix. Nelissa Smith getting busy as far as on the boards. She get a bucket when she needs to. She does all the intangibles. And Lexi Hall is knocking down the three like she been living at the 3 point line for the last 5 years. Salute to Indiana. They doing their thing. They are doing their thing. They're on right now. And here is my moment of irritation with myself. Why? Okay, so when I play FanDuel, I'm a FanDuel junkie. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it messed up. I play FanDuel on a regular basis. When's the last time you won something? I won the single game contest when Indiana and Dallas played the last game before the All Star / Olympic break. I won that single game contest. Yes, yes, that $1,000. That was me. That was me. That was me. I just wanted to share that. And I don't get a prize for it. I mean, I got the $1,000. Don't get it twisted, but I don't get a prize from y'all. I just want to let you know who you're dealing with. But I lined up three lineups. I did three. I didn't line up three lineups. I didn't do any lineups, but I grabbed three spots in the single game for tonight. Then I didn't look back at it. Went live on TikTok, and at exactly 7 o'clock, which was game time, I said, "Oh shoot, I know it's close to game time." Picked up my phone, went to FanDuel. It said 7 o'clock, and it was too late for me to do a lineup. Tricking up the church's money. $27? That's $9 a piece, cuz. $9 a piece, three lineups, $27 out the window. Now, I just won 40 last night, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm supposed to be on the winning side, not on the tricking up the money side. And I'm tricking up the money right now. I got to get my life right. And we're going into the NFL. That was supposed to be my NFL money popping off tonight so I could get right on Thursday and Friday. But now I got to go back to the well one more time. So sad. So sad. I brought it on myself, though. I can't blame anybody else because nobody made you go on social media and go live. I thought I'd be live for a few minutes. Got into a conversation about hip hop, which is one of my loves, passion. One of the things I talk about, the main thing I talk about actually on TikTok. Feel free to follow me there at Source of Course, at Source of Course. A lot of hip hop talk. We got to going, and I totally forgot. So now I'm feeling bad. I guess I'll get over it. It ain't nothing but money. The way this economy is going right now, that's what I need. Money. I mean, yeah, tough times. But as my man, as I said this during the live, one of my compadres that was in the chat in the conversation said, "You'll get it back tomorrow. Don't worry." Sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah, Caitlin Clark's getting busy. I feel like we need to be clear about this thing before the season started. After the NCAA season ended and before this season started, I had some strong statements about Caitlin Clark, and I stand by them. I stand by the fact that she is the women's basketball version of Eminem. I stand by the fact that a lot of people who did not care about the sport are now enthralled in the sport, but they think that their opinion is the end all be all because of this one person. Imagine thinking that one person is the reason that people are paying attention to the sport. Since we're here, I might as well tell you why it's really happening. You know there's a presidential election coming up? Oh yeah. Don't go away. Don't disappear now. There's a presidential election around the corner. What month is this? September? We got 2 months. 2 months of the United States going crazy before the United States goes crazy. But this particular sickness has been going on for years, and it has ramped back up within the last 8 years, 9 years, 9 years. And I am one that will tell you that I rocked with Caitlin Clark before most people that don't pay attention to the sport joined up. So I saw the difference between people who care about women's basketball, at least watch women's basketball, like women's basketball, and those who just popped up because of an incident. They want to say it's because of a person, but it's really because of an incident. Because Caitlin Clark didn't start getting buckets the 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 day, the 2 days before Iowa played LSU, and Angel Reese hit her with the. She didn't just start hooping 2 days before that. She had been hooping 2 years before that, but really the year before that, which was her sophomore year, and nobody was talking about anything. Nobody cared. Junior year, nobody cared until we got to that moment, and then it was, oh my gosh, look at this, doing this, being unruly and rude and unsportsmanlike to our princess, who wasn't even their princess at the time. They didn't even know. They didn't even care. But they saw that black girl do something to that white girl and said, "Oh my gosh," not knowing that that white girl had been doing that to everybody before it happened to her. And even when they found that out, they didn't care. Somehow it didn't matter. It didn't matter that she did it first. It didn't matter that she did it multiple times. Nobody cared about that. All they cared about is what Angel Reese did to Caitlin Clark. Sad part, They already knew each other. They was already okay. But it's real. Competition, like people act like women aren't supposed to compete. Women can't talk trash. Women can't do the same thing that men do on the playing field. And guess what? It's real. That's how it goes down. If you're a competitor, you're a competitor. If you talk trash, you talk trash. It doesn't matter your gender, it's gonna happen. And that was part of that. But more than the play of Caitlin Clark, that moment is what has triggered this whole paying attention to women's basketball. Originally, it was paying attention to college basketball, paying attention to Caitlin Clark's senior year and Angel's senior year or last year. Um, and it all culminated with Caitlin actually knocking off LSU and getting to the championship a second time. All of that, along with the love from Middle America. All right, let's just call it what it is. They used and it's hard to believe they used women's basketball, a woman basketball, a girl basketball player as their high priestess in the moment for a whole different purpose. And I know some people don't want to see it. They don't want to say it. It's cool. You ain't got to believe it. But everything that you need to know is right in front of you. And it continues today. Now, do I think that there are people that don't like her because she's white? Sure. Do I think there are people that don't like Angel Reese because she is black? 100%. But the key is they both made it to the league. They both are playing well. And yet and still, those same people that hated Angel at the time still find a way to talk crazy about her, try to bring her down in so many ways. Like if you saw some of the stuff that people say, yeah, I mean, it might not matter to you. I guess it might not matter to you. It's just reckless behavior, and they try to sell it as fandom of women's basketball when they did not care about women's basketball 18 months ago. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I see you. I see you. Like everybody might not see you, but I see you. And that's a fact. Jack and Jill, Jack and Diane, whoever you want to bring. Yeah. All that said, Rookie of the Year is Caitlin Clark. Men lie, women lie. The numbers actually lie too, but in this case, her numbers are not lying. She's getting busy. I think it's 24, 9, and 5 in the last week, maybe in the last month. She's doing her thing, and Indiana is definitely playing better on their way to the playoffs. Who would have thunk it? Even though, I mean, there's 12 teams in the league, 8 getting to the playoffs, so it's really not that difficult to make the playoffs. But can't take that away because they haven't made the playoffs in a minute, even with back-to-back number one picks because they've been so terrible. Oh, they have been terrible. But you know that if you watch the games prior to April of this year. But yes, be clear, Caitlin Clark is the Rookie of the Year. Now you saw the way people were even before the All-Star break, All-Star slash Olympic break. People were hyping Asia Wilson as the MVP already. I didn't like that because there was so much of the season left, and there's still time, still a little bit of time left. I think it's like 2 weeks left in the regular season. But I'm okay with calling Asia Wilson the MVP at this point, even though the Las Vegas Aces are not looking like world beaters at this time. Can't trust them. Can't trust them. And I don't really know why. Early in the season, the reasoning, the excuse, the thought process was that Chelsea Gray, the point guard, was out, and that made a difference. So much so that they were not on point. The Aces were not on point. Asia was still wrecking. Chelsea comes back, they go on a short run. Asia's still wrecking. Now we're back at it. Asia's still wrecking, but the Aces just don't look right. Something ain't right. I don't know what it is. Is it related to? I mean, I can't see it being related to Becky Hammond and the De'Erica Hamby scandal that's going on, lawsuit that's going on. I don't know if it's that deep because they seem to all get along. They seem to still love their coach and all that good stuff. But I mean, you've got Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Alicia Clark, Tiffany Hayes added to the squad, and the MVP, Asia Wilson, and you still can't get consistency. Makes no sense. Now it's not that's not a type of team that you want to see in the playoffs. You don't want to be their opponent in the playoffs because you know what they are capable of. But I don't know that they are striking fear in anyone's heart at this time, even with the best player on the planet, the MVP, most likely the defensive MVP or the defensive player of the year. Yeah, and they're still not scaring people. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, Asia Wilson is my MVP and my defensive player of the year. Caitlin Clark, rookie of the year. What other awards are there? I don't even know. Probably Cheryl Reeve as coach of the year. Minnesota Lynx look good from top to bottom, and you got a squad too. I mean, between court, I like to call her Bucket, Kayla McBride, Nafisa Collier is a dog who doesn't get the credit she deserves. I don't like saying people don't get the credit they deserve. Like that's just not one of my favorite statements, but I believe it's true in her case. I believe that people overlook how great she is because you're seeing Asia Wilson, which is understandable. But if you look at the rest of the league, including my favorite player, Brianna Stewart, nobody's getting busy like Nafisa Collier. That's all I'm saying. And she deserves a lot more credit for the work she's doing in Minnesota. But yeah, Cheryl Reeve got her as coach of the year at this point. Ah, can you tell I love the WNBA? A little bit. A little bit. I love it a little bit. Speaking of WNBA or women's basketball more, I don't know if any of you watch the Mark Jackson Show. The Mark Jackson Show is a podcast with former point guard, former NBA analyst Mark Jackson and his son Blue. They are the hosts of the show. They talk about topics and they also have guests. Well, the other day they had Cheryl Miller, considered by many as the greatest woman basketball player of all time. They had Cheryl Miller on the show. Dog, let me tell you, Cheryl Miller is hilarious. She is hilarious. And she's a dog. She is so funny. Funny, quick witted. Like she was on point on the show and she talk her trash. I think she had what three brothers, including Reggie Miller. And I don't like to say like a guy, but she had to fight for everything when it came to being competitive in the house with three brothers, including one that was in the NBA. And yeah, I think that brought some of that dog out of her. And you can hear it when she talks. She don't mind telling you what she is or who she is as far as a basketball player. She knows she knows what she did and she feels like she could play today. Not today, like at her age, but her game could translate into the league today. She feels like she could. She said, "I feel like I could give Asia a hard time. I could give Asia Wilson a hard time, and I'm gonna get mine. She gonna get hers on the offensive end. I love it. I love it that she still talk reckless like that. Love it. But if you haven't checked out that show, that's a good episode to check out. It's a good show, definitely, because it's Mark and his son. You see their relationship. You can see a strong father and son relationship where they genuinely love each other and love to be around each other, or at least on the podcast with each other. So you see that translate through the screen, and you got to appreciate that, especially as a black man. If you're a black man, if you're a man at all, but if you're a black man specifically, watching their relationship and the love that they have for each other is dope to see on camera. So definitely something that you should check out if you have time. I know y'all be busy. I know y'all be busy. Look, why you on a podcast talking about other podcasts? Because I can talk about what I wants to talk about. That's why we're here. So I definitely talk about um, another show that I enjoy. It's it's a podcast. It's a sports show, but it's really an entertainment show, and that is it is what it is with Cam and Mase. For those who don't know, Cam is Cam'ron. Cam'ron was a rapper. Dipset. Cam was a rapper. Mase and Betha was an artist on Bad Boy. You know Mase. If you don't know who Cam and Mase are, it's cool. But know that they played basketball in high school together in New York City. That's part of the show's comedy, along with the fact that they're both just funny individuals. They are funny guys. But the reason I bring them up today, and shout out to Treasure as well, Stat Baby. She is the host of the show. But the reason I bring them up today is because last season, and maybe the last two seasons, they've had OJ Simpson as their football analyst during the week. So OJ would come on, I think, once a week, maybe twice, once a week, I believe, in past seasons and talk NFL during the NFL season. As you all probably already know, OJ Simpson passed away not too long ago, earlier this year. And Cam and Mase ended up hiring a new NFL analyst for this season. When I tell you that they could not get a better individual for this type of program in this moment, I promise you, Michael Playmaker Irvin is the football analyst for It Is What It Is. What? Imagine an unfiltered show where Michael Irvin can talk sports, talk NFL, but also talk crazy because he's a wild boy and he's had some wild times in his life. And he talks about it. Uh, he's talked about it over the years and on different platforms that we've seen. But he is going to bring something special to this show. Benny the Butcher said, they asked me what I bring to Griselda. I said validity. That's what it is. Michael Irvin brings validity to Cam and Mace's show. Not that it's already legitimate because and valid, I should say, because they get their money. Like, clearly, they get their money. They got sponsors. The show goes crazy as far as numbers. Um, they do a lot of things. They do a lot of things. But for me, I know that Cam and Mase, when it comes to sports, Sometimes they hit or miss, and sometimes they just don't know what they're talking about, like at all. Sometimes they don't even research, they just talk. More Mase than Cam. But many times they are way out of pocket. They live out of pocket. That's where they live. They come back in, they're in pocket sometimes, but they live out of pocket on a regular basis. And adding Michael Irvin to that with his experience from the NFL Network to ESPN on television, been talking for years, and he's already the cocaine cowboy. You put the cocaine cowboy with Cam and Mase, dog, they are going to go crazy this year. They're going to go crazy this year. And the season just started for that show on Monday. I didn't catch it on Monday because it was Labor Day. I wasn't looking for a podcast, but I ended up watching the Tuesday episode and the Monday episode on Tuesday, which was yesterday. Michael Irvin was on the Monday show, and it was exactly what I expected it to be. Fire content. Uh, you got your insider stuff because you got an NFL great talking. You got his personality, which we already know. We already know Michael Irvin never shies away from a camera. He's always got a story and he always got something to say. So we're going to get some good stuff this year. And it's going to bring validity to Cam and Mase. I think they might have to actually do their homework a little bit more. Like they could get away with it with OJ because one, OJ's a little older, was a little older. Two, OJ was not in the public eye as much as a lot of a lot of NFL greats have been. But because of those things and because they were giving OJ a chance to be back in the public eye, the pressure wasn't so much on them as it was on OJ, at least in my opinion. Michael Irvin, because of his knowledge, they can't be talking like silly stuff to him or foolishness to him or have takes that don't make sense when it comes to the NFL because Michael Irvin will have the ability to check them in the moment and give the real. And that I'm looking forward to. I am looking forward to that. That's going to be good stuff. So yeah, another suggestion. Check out It Is What It Is. I'll keep it a buck. When the show first, not when the show first started, but when I first started watching the show, which was early last football season, maybe in the summer, maybe right before the season started, I watched a couple episodes and I was like, this is terrible. This is terrible. Like, why is this a thing? And I even shared that on social media. Actually, it was on Facebook, of all places. I shared my disdain for the show. But of all the comments, a lot of people agreed. They were like, yeah, this show's terrible, blah, blah, blah. But there was one comment that got me straight. And ever since then, I've looked at the show in a different manner. Someone said, if you're going into the Cam and Mase show looking for sports takes, you're already wrong. You're already wrong. You're doing it wrong. And when I saw that comment, it clicked in my brain. It says that it is a sports show, but it's actually one, an entertainment show, and two, watching two old friends talk about stuff in front of people. That's what it is. If you know Cam and Mace's relationship at all, you know that they started out, they played basketball together, they were tight in school. Mace got a record deal, Cam got a record deal. They ended up doing some stuff together rap wise, but then they ended their friendship. Something happened, their friendship ended. They did diss records at each other, all that. So it had been like 20 years, or at least close to 20 years, since they had been in close proximity. But then as the years went on, I guess the relationship maybe not mended, but the animosity kind of died. And when Cam had the idea for the show, he reached out to Mase, said, "Let's get this money," and it looks like they've been good ever since. So that's a dope thing about it. They're able to give money after all these years with each other, even through the beef and animosity. But watching these two rappers do something different in the media space and handle their business on the business side, it's inspiring to see. It's dope to see, and it's inspiring if you are someone who tried to switch lanes or do something different, tried a different approach to your life. It's a beautiful thing, man, for real. It's a beautiful thing to see. So I'm happy for them. I'm glad the show does well. And ever since I was told that I was looking at the show wrong, I've been on the right track because I don't need the show for sports takes. I know sports better than they do, and they still talk reckless even to this day, including today, going off on tangents about stuff that's not even right, that doesn't even make sense. But that's just a small portion of what the show is, and I appreciate the show for all the other things it is. So it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Salute to Cam and Mase. I ain't gonna let them off easy though. Don't get it twisted. I still be on their neck when it comes to their commentary. They talk crazy. I take my shots. I take my shot. I don't take my shots, but I definitely will make a video talking about their commentary and putting it out to the world. Just because somebody got to do it. They can't just be out here talking super reckless and nobody's trying to be like, yo, that makes no sense. That's not even what happened. And they're out here, talking as if it is fact when it's not. Somebody got to talk about it. So that's what I do. But yeah, I appreciate what they do for real. For real. A little sip of ginger ale. Let me clear my throat. How many people have mason jars in their home and drink out of them? Like, we don't have cups. It don't matter. It's my house. I do what I want. It's my house. I do what I want. Anyway, let's see. Let me make sure I get to all the topics because I sometimes run out of time because I'm used to being free to talk for however long I want about whatever I want. And it can be a shorter conversation or it can be a longer conversation because I usually do it on lives on social media, TikTok specifically, at Source, of course, like I said earlier. But knowing that there's a show that follows mine at 9 p.m., I know I have a hard out at 9. So, gotta make sure I get all my thoughts and topics in. What you got to end the show with, Source? Aha, I got it. On Monday, a friend, a social media friend, Jamal Does Vinyl, dropped a hot take on his page, his podcast. He said 2010s hip hop, meaning 2010 through 2019, is the best decade of hip hop. He said 2010 through 2019 is the best decade of hip hop. I gasped. I didn't gasp, but if I was a gasper, I would have gasped, something like that. But yeah, I was like, bruh, like be for real, be for real. The '90s was the best decade of hip hop, 1990 through 1999. Like if we're starting from the zero and ending at the nine, then the '90s is the best decade of hip hop. And I issued a challenge of sorts because TikTok is a space for younger people a lot of times. But in my area of TikTok, in my streams and conversations, we talk a lot of hip hop and specifically classic hip hop. So I was like, listen, if anybody out there wants to come forward and show me their list of albums from the from 2010 through 2019 that they think can match my list of albums from 1990 to 1999, put it in the comments, make a video, let me know. Because you ain't gonna just be out here talking crazy, talking about the 2010s is the best decade of hip hop when we all know it's the 1990s. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. So I issued that challenge. I've actually received one video where someone responded talking about, they picked a number of albums and they dropped them in a video for me to respond to. My man Kendall dropped 15 albums from 2010 through 2019 that he thought could match a 15 album uh, set from 1990 to 1999. Oh man, he dropped his albums. I made a video today dropping my albums, responding to him. The sad part is, I didn't even pick the best albums or even the most popular albums across the board. I just matched his energy as far as if it was an artist from the South, I responded with an artist from the South. If you mentioned an artist that was actually out in the 90s, I mentioned one of their albums that was better than their more recent albums. Light work, slight work is what I call it. Light work, slight work, because I won't say there's no comparison, because I'm not saying that the 2010 through 2019 rap hip hop is bad. I'm just saying it's not the 90s. It's not. Some people will call it nostalgia. I'm not I'm not really a person that can't be unbiased in a situation like this. I definitely can be unbiased. And yes, the 90s is my sweet spot when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to music, growing up, uh, television, movies, all that. But it's so many people's sweet spot that are not even of that generation because they know that the 90s was the greatest. I know the saying is the 80s was the greatest. Maybe theoretically, but in reality, the 90s was the greatest time. So I just want to be clear. If you have any questions, bring them over here. Because ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way somebody gonna talk about 2010 through 2019 compared to 1990 to 1999. Man, are you crazy? Are you crazy? That's all I'm asking. Are you crazy? Cause Illmatic and All Eyes on Me and Ready to Die and The Diary and AT Aliens and Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt and Death Certificate and Doggy Style and The Chronic and so many others are weighing heavy on my mind, and I had to let them know. We got a rep for them late 1900s Since that's what the kids like to say, the late 1900s. We got a rep for them late 1900s because that's when it was real. That's when it was real. But anyway, I appreciate you all checking in, tapping in, commenting, watching the show, enjoying the vibes, all that good stuff. Once again, my name is Source. Did I even say my name is Source? My name is Source. Of course. We throw the of course on there for entertainment purposes only. This is my book, Shorts from Source, 31 Thoughts, Poems, and Stories from Me. Feel free to grab a copy of this. Where, Source? Just hit the Cash App, $ MICSOURCE, $10. Send your mailing address. I will autograph this book and ship it out to you this weekend. All right. Also, if you want in on the NFL Pick'em contest, let me know. I will shoot that to you, shoot the link to you so you fill that out. That's also $10. You hit up the Cash App with that, and boom, bam. That's how we do. All right. Y'all be good. Be great. Thank you for checking in. Source out here.